Hey everyone, this video is going to cover 4 beginner tricks that you might want to learn on a spine ramp in your local skate park. So lots of skateboarders will learn how to skate parks. They'll learn to drop in, do rock to fakies, do some kick turns and things. And then there's a spine ramp and they really don't know what to do, what tricks to try. Well, in this video, I want to bring you a few tricks that you're going to do if you're a beginner. I'm going to show you how you can use normal tricks and skills that you might have already learned and adapt them for the spine ramp. Okay, so trick 1 is going to be rocking over the spine, where you just land in the middle of your board and you rock over to the other side. Now the way I think about this trick is that if you can rock up a quarter pipe and end up on the deck, and if you can rock down a quarter pipe and actually roll down the transition, then that's basically the 2 separate parts of this movement, and you basically combine them together on the spine. So what you're basically doing when you try this trick on a spine is you're riding up the spine, leaning back a little bit, and then allowing your deck, the middle of your deck, to meet basically the coping on top of the spine, and you're going to be confident. You need to stand above the spine ramp. You're going to start to lean forward, allow the board to slide in. You can either at this point let it slide and take all your weight off the back foot. This is going to allow the back wheels to kind of roll over the coping as long as you're very light on the back end. Or you can make sure your foot goes on the nose, you lean right forward and rock your nose, lifting the back end clear up so that you can roll down the spine. You've got to lean forward on the way down. So trick 2 for spine ramps is going to be feebles over the spine. You're going to want to be able to feeble quite confidently on a quarter pipe. So I think of this trick as very similar to the rocking over the spine. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to twist your shoulders as you get at the top, and you're aiming to get your wheel over on the other side of the coping. The way the feeble locks on is basically you're kind of resting across the middle of your board and your one wheel is hooking on the top of the coping. You're going to kind of keep as much weight on this wheel as possible to lock the trick in. So once I've basically got into the feeble, I basically lean all the way forward and put all my weight on my front foot. This takes all my weight off my back foot, and my back wheels actually just completely unhook, and I'm free to roll down the ramp leaning into it. Trick number 3 for spine ramps, if you're a beginner, I'm going to say is a blunt over the spine. You could call this a tail stall over the spine, a blunt transfer, blunt over the spine. This is basically kind of where you jump completely over the spine and you just land your tail on and quickly drop in the other side. Now for this one, I would say you need to be confident doing flyouts on quarter pipes. How I would say you would transition this skill over to spine is just simply judging your speed. You don't want to go too fast that you completely fly over the other side and miss your tail completely. You also just want to be confident at kind of landing with all your weight on the tail, holding that sort of tail stall, drop in position for like 1 second, enough time to just get your balance and kind of work out what you're doing. And then you need to be obviously good at dropping in to drop in down the other side. One thing I tend to do with this trick is actually bounce my wheels off the coping, so I kind of get a little bit of air, a little bit of lift, and I fly above the coping and then kind of stamp my tail down on the other side. And a really easy and fun variation you can do with this trick is actually just do a nose grab. Grab your nose on the way up, hold your nose as you land in tail, let go of the nose and drop straight in. The fun thing with these tricks is that they're not actually very hard. They're a little bit daunting because you are landing on a spine, so there's no platform to put your feet down if you feel you need to bail or just kick the trick away. But if you can do these movements and these motions on a normal quarter pipe or even on the floor, then you're going to be fine. You just need confidence to know you can do these tricks. The final trick, the hardest trick for beginners that I would suggest today, is going to be the flyover. The complete air over the spine. This is where you don't interact with your board at all on the coping. You just completely jump over the coping and land on the other side in one go. So if you're an absolute beginner at the spine ramps, you're going to want to be able to fly out of quarter pipes just like this and land on the deck, like we talked about with the blunt transfer over the spine. I would also say if you're a beginner, you're going to want to be able to roll into a quarter pipe, which is like a controlled manual where your wheels bounce off the coping, you dip the front end and lean into the ramp and actually roll down the face of the transition. So these two tricks can be quite daunting on their own if you're a beginner and you've never done them before. If you have got them and you're quite confident, let's talk about how you can transfer them to spine ramps. How I would think about a spine ramp, if you can already do these tricks, is that you actually just want to think about the shape of the ramp. The ramp goes up, levels out and goes down, and that's essentially what your body needs to do. So when you're going up the ramp, you're leaning back and you're going to lift your knees up to allow the board to fly out and level the board out. And then you want to lean in and forwards to land on a downslope so your wheels can meet that sort of angle as well. It's simply a case of following the shape of the ramp with your board and leaning your body with the ramp in the direction you want to go. So when you're going up, you lean back, and when you're going down the ramp, you lean forwards. Bending your knees in the air will really help with this process, as it will allow you to level your board out and then tilt your board downwards on the way down the ramp. Another thing you can do, and I've advised some of my students to do this in the past, is actually to just fly out too far. Don't worry too much about pointing the front end down the ramp on the way in, but just try and think about sort of landing as far away from the quarter pipe as possible. Even if you're landing a little bit flat, at least you're sort of going to land on the board. As you can see from what I just showed you, I took off here and I went up the ramp here and bounced off the coping, but instead of landing sort of here at the high point of the ramp, I actually landed almost at the bottom, almost at the flat there. I flew all the way here and had to take the drop by bending my knees when I landed, and I didn't have to think about angling my board to meet this part of the ramp. What you can do from this point to tidy your spine transfers up, your ears over spines. So instead of landing here, you can start to land there, and there and there, and then you want to think about tucking your knees so that you're kind of leveling the board out here and tipping the board down, and then that's going to sort of clean up your spine transfers by airing over. Once you've done this move, you can kind of add loads of different grabs and different things. You can do some of these tricks that we've covered in this video, fakie, you can kind of do kick turns out, you can slide and grind some of these tricks. So let me know what you thought of this video. If you want to see some more advanced sort of spine moves, then I can show you and make a video about that too. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this a like and subscribe to the channel if you like this sort of content. I'm Sam and I'll see you next time.